Hey everyone, I'm Brent Lundell.
And I'm Vanita Patil.
We're co-hosts for the SCORE podcast, How It Was Built.
We invite insightful guests to join us and talk about community hot topics, industry updates, and providing resources to the business community.
Come join us and listen in. Hello, welcome to our monthly podcast. Our topic is How It Was Built.
Today we have three guests, Wicker, Christie Denson, and Paul Schinders.
We will start with our first guest today, Chris Wicker.
Hey guys.
Hey Chris,
how's it
welcome
going?
to the podcast.
Thanks.
Chris was a former chapter chair with SCORE, and we wanted to get some of his thoughts and opinions on experiences he had with SCORE, the chapters, and some of the mentors he worked with.
Yeah, well, this is perfect timing. I'm on my way out the door, so I have no repercussions for what we need to talk about today. This is excellent timing.
Give us some examples, Chris, of some things you were working on as a SCORE chapter leader. I believe you were chapter chair for, 2 years?
Yeah, and so, as a refresher, SCORE is the nation's largest network of volunteer business experts, and our chapter in the Twin Cities of Minnesota is actually one of the largest chapters in the country. So we've got nearly 200 volunteers, almost 10,000 clients. That's a lot of coverage space geographically, as well as just resources to manage. So those projects get quite a bit larger than they might be in some of the smaller chapters of SCORE throughout the country. In the Twin Cities, our biggest focus in the last couple of years has been getting back out into the community after COVID. I think we all know that COVID has kind of changed the way that we do things. And for a mentoring service, the biggest challenge was getting volunteers onto what is probably a new technology platform and in front of their clients. Well, now that space has kind of ended for us. I think a lot of us are wanting to get back out into the public space. And so when I joined the chapter as its co-chair in 2021 and then the solo chair in 2022, I decided that I wanted to get us back out into the community. We needed to go out and see the whites of people's eyes again. So I've done that in a couple of different ways. We have built a team of community partnerships individuals, so volunteers within SCORE. These are really great people that are already living throughout the Twin Cities, and they're getting out there. They're talking to folks at the YMCA. They're talking to folks at Big Brother, Big Sister, and they're working with the other community development partners that are already in the space. And then the second thing that we're trying to do is to get people to put butts in seats again, to sit down, teach people, show people new things, and have business education be an in-person, realistic experience again. Those have just been the two biggest priorities for us.
And Chris, with your background of a SCORE leader in your current profession, give the audience some take of what you've done on the educational side to manage all those things.
Sure. I've been in small business for what feels like an eternity at this point. I was in the military fresh out of high school, but I started my own business in 2013. And from that time forward, I have always dedicated a portion of my time back into the community for some sort of economic development work. So I've sat on the board of directors of business advocacy organizations. I've been on advisory boards. I've been on boards of directors. Again, I think I just said that actually. And which is how repetitive some of this work can be sometimes. It feels like it's the same. And so when I got back to Minnesota, I moved here from Florida in 2020 and COVID took over. I decided to go back to an organization that I was already familiar with, which was SCORE. And again, SCORE's biggest need is to meet the needs of other business owners. Well, I've been a business owner. I started a cleaning company, as I mentioned, in 2013. I did a summer internship in my graduate degree program for an innovation consulting firm. And so working with business owners, being a business owner, as a financial advisor, I've done a lot of work with business owners as well, helping them understand benefits packages and, employee compensation work. So really at the end of the day, it's about taking that experience, meeting the needs of entrepreneurs exactly where they're at, whether it's an issue of capital funding, whether it's an issue of simply figuring out what a cash flow statement looks like. So from the really, really benign to the really, really complicated.
That is great. It's good to hear how you are able to give back in a sense because you've experienced every step of that process. And what a blessing that is for other entrepreneurs that may be struggling with effects of starting a business or even being in the middle of a business, knowing what the environment or economic environment might look like for them.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you very much. It's good work and it's rewarding work, and there will always be small businesses out there. Entrepreneurs represent nearly 60% of the workforce today. So it's important.
Well, thank you, Chris. We appreciate your input on with SCORE.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to our SCORE webinar. We are briefly going to go over how to navigate on the score.org/Twin Cities website. If you're a business owner or if you're looking to get into business or simply have some questions, if you go to score.org, you can go into the menu here and click on Request a Mentor. We then have intake on where a mentor may match up to your skills in terms of industry, skill set, zip codes. Then from there, you can go into our national or regional workshops. So on a monthly basis, we do regional and live national webinars along with local webinars and workshops in the area. We also have an abundance of templates and resources on our SCORE website. If you're looking for business plan templates, projections, how to fill out a resume type of stuff. But all this stuff is on the score.org website for those members who are looking to get involved.
Welcome back to our podcast, How It's Built. We have our second guest, Christie. Welcome, Christie.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Christie, you've had your communications business for, 10, 12 years now?
Yes.
And we at SCORE are very fortunate to have Christie working on our stuff for us on the marketing side, the advertising, and certainly the social media aspect of it. What are some things that you help us out with on getting our chapters known, getting the resources out there?
Yeah, thank you. I'm so privileged to work with SCORE. It's been a great experience. I love what SCORE does to help the small business owner. It's something that I'm personally passionate about. I've worked with SCORE since 2021 and was really brought on to start telling the stories of all the great work that's going on around the state of Minnesota. SCORE has 4 chapters, lots of great stuff going on, but we wanted to make sure that we were helping to write success stories for different business owners, spotlighting the mentors that do all the great work that they do, and also making sure we do some extra marketing around all of the amazing resources and events that are available to SCORE around the state.
Christie, in your private practice, what are some things you see with business owners that they may be missing out on before they come to you and you have to educate them on marketing policies or strategies?
That's a really good question. I work with a lot of different types of businesses, and they're all unique. And they all have their own challenges related to their industry or even related to the resources that they have to allocate to marketing. And so I spend a lot of time working with business owners to figure out how do you take, I often equate it to building a house. If you're building a brand new house, if you had an unlimited budget, you could have a $5,000 toilet if that was what was important to you, right? But not everybody has that. So we have to understand what the resources that you have to allocate to marketing and try to figure out where your audience is and try to find the right channel and the right investment to reach that audience.
Are there certain trends that you see with companies you work with post-COVID compared to pre-COVID?
Well, I think what COVID taught us for sure was that you need to have a digital presence when we can't have face-to-face. And so it's important to build out the channels that allow you to get in front of your ideal clients and customers digitally. In terms of the trends, I think we're definitely seeing that need to build relationships off of social media and bringing people into an email marketing channel. I think that's really important. You don't want to build your house on someone else's land because they can change the rules, right? So if you only are building on social media and you're not pulling those clients into some sort of funnel where you're able to market to them directly, you can run into problems.
If a company is on a budget,
Yes.
what do you recommend would be the frequency of doing some sort of social media or even an email blast?
Well, I think some of that depends on where your audience is. understanding your demographic and finding the different demographics use different channels. So your audience might not be on Facebook. If you're looking at a younger generation, Gen Alpha, right? They're on Snapchat and they're on Discord and they're on TikTok. They're not on Facebook. So it really depends on where your demographic is. And then organic is free, so it's having that really good content, but doing it consistently is the most important thing.
That's good information.
When we come back, we'll be talking with Paul Childers from Blue Sky Marketing Productions, and we thank Christie Denson Communications for being here for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Hi, we're here with our third guest, Paul Childers. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
We're happy you're here.
Paul, how would you describe what you do for small business clients on the consulting side?
Yeah, so really what I do is I focus on helping them really structure their business so that they are ready to be lendable when they get to that point where they're ready to scale. Because there's a gap that exists in the market right now where when you start a new business, they're just like, here, go start your business, and nobody really tells you how and why you should structure everything when you get it all set up. So I fill that niche, but then I also fill the niche of scaling entrepreneurs that are trying to get off of the abuse that their personal credit has received as they're doing that, and get them access to capital that just goes off of their business credit score and their business revenue and that kind of stuff. So that's in a nutshell what I spend my day doing.
Can you give us and the audience an example of maybe one or two business owners that you've taken from the beginning stages to where you kind of hand them off to somebody else?
Yeah. So I was working with a plumber out in California. He's doing, this year he'll do over $5 million. And when I started working with him, he had been just having a lot of issues getting financing for his company because he didn't manage his bank accounts very well, right? The traditional business owner that was kind of pilfering his business bank account to fund his personal lifestyle, and then you don't really know where the money went. So spent 3 months getting that cleaned up and cleared up for him and helping him understand his numbers, got him a bookkeeper to learn the P&L and that kind of stuff, and finally got him a loan. So now he has a loan that he's paying on that he wasn't able to before. Got him off of all of his cash accounts for his company. So now he's got fleet fuel cards, he's got store of credit that he's using as well to build up a credit history. And just recently we were able to connect him with a commercial real estate lender to get funding for a new building that he's getting into, and that's going really well. So kind of took him from not having any lenders looking at him to, in about 7 months, a point where hopefully we'll be able to stair step this into a lot better and smoother of credit process. On the flip side of that, I've also worked with a business in Wisconsin that just did $173,000. When I first met him, he was a sole proprietorship and hadn't set up an LLC. And I was like, we need you to set up an LLC. I was like, your time in business doesn't start until you file those papers with the Secretary of State. And that was something he didn't even know. So it's like just taking that and getting him to transition to an LLC to now we're stair-stepping him into an SBA loan through, I think he's going through like a Huntington branch there in Wisconsin that he wouldn't have ever been able to get to. So now we're going to be able to roll that, get him some funding so that he can expand and do some marketing this next year. So that's just a couple examples on two different sides of the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
What got you into doing this type of finance?
Yeah, that's a good question. Part of it was I just decided to leave the W-2 world. I think I was tired of helping other people build their dreams and just kind of wanted to do my own thing. And then as I left, it was kind of like, okay, what is it that I know and how can I apply this to help businesses? And part of it was I learned business credit while I was doing stuff in automotive because we had commercial deals and stuff that we would look at that score. So I knew it existed, was somewhat familiar with it. I was like, all right, I can teach people business credit. That's easy enough. And then that led to, okay, I can actually help with lending as well. So building up lending partnerships because I think it's important to understand the different lenders out there and what their strengths are because banks don't do a really good job of advertising that themselves. So being a bridge for that and then also, just a guide for helping people like structure their business successfully when they first open it, so that in that first year when they go to get lending, they could get it. So it's like just pairing all of that knowledge I've had from, working in the dealership world, working as a sales director for a company that grew really fast. Like I got a lot of growth experience there, and then just taking all that and providing it back to the businesses. And at the end of the day, I just like helping people. It just kind of was a good natural fit.
I appreciate you saying that you were first in a business or industry that you were helping that company build their dreams, and then you wanted to kind of transition to build your company. But in turn, you're going back to helping people with their dreams. And I think that's just kind of shows the type of person you are and how you want to help people grow their dreams and their businesses.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks, Paul, for coming on our monthly podcast. Thank you to Chris Wicker and Christie Denson also. And when we come back, we will hear from the Better Business Bureau of Minnesota.
Every day, customers look online for businesses that seem trustworthy and reputable. Any business can say they're committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. But what does it take to actually prove it? Help potential customers make the right choice by getting an official BBB seal of accreditation that lets them know just how credible your company is. Apply for BBB accreditation today and show customers you're the business they've been looking for.